And to keep things going, again, let's give BC another round of applause. We will have opportunities to engage each one of the speakers on the areas in which they have highlighted and enumerated a number of issues on. Next, to go up to the podium, we have Cheta Nwaze. He's the head of research at SBM Intelligence, also a former managing director at Y Naija, and a very seasoned social commentator. Please, a round of applause for Cheta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Point of correction, no, former managing editor at Y Naija. The former managing director is sitting beside you. Yeah. Now, we talk about investing in Nigeria. And we talk about this thing as if it's a new thing. We always forget that our traditional societies even understood some of these things. So there's a saying in Hausa, Agina masalata, ba masalata kawaiba. Basically, it is better to build Muslims than to build mosques. Apologies to Fatima, my Hausa is spoken with an Igbo accent, so it's better to build Muslims than to build mosques. What does that statement mean? It simply means invest in the people. A mosque is just a building. But when you put the knowledge in the people, they can later grow up to build those mosques. And that's something that we have been missing in this country for a very long time. One of the things that we love doing is infrastructure projects. Basically, everybody that comes will tell you, oh, I have built this, I have built that, I have built this, I have built that. The evidence is there. Infrastructure decays. What about when you fail to put knowledge in the people to maintain that infrastructure? Talk about, for example, the National Stadium in Abuja. Talk about Ikpori Bridge or any of these bridges that I hate to be a prophet of doom, but are going to fall one of these days because of the dead weight on them. These are issues that can be averted if we properly invest in people, education. But there's also a part of it that is hardly highlighted. Education cannot happen in an atmosphere of insecurity. And that's Nigeria's biggest problem today, probably. The security issues that are popping up everywhere. So as an example, in the states that have been under the Boko Haram curse for a long time, enrollment rates in schools have fallen. No, they've not fallen, they've plummeted. There's a difference. And it's really sad because that's a 20-year problem. In 1996, I was privileged to hear the late Professor Iyayi, former ASU chairman in Nigeria, say something. He said, if we start investing properly in education today, we will get back to where we were in 1976 in 2016. He said this in 1996. We failed to invest in education. So, as of 2016, we were 40 years behind 1976. So I want to extend that by saying if we start investing properly today, 2018, it will take us 42 years to get back to where we were in 1976, when foreign lecturers were happy enough to come to Nigerian institutions of higher learning to teach our students and take our pay. That's a huge problem. But is it a problem that is insurmountable? No, it's not. However, the key thing, if we are to solve this problem, is not just by throwing money at it. We have to be able to throw money and track where the money has gone. So, for example, Nigeria has been spending a lot on insecurity, trying to fight Boko Haram, trying to fight Niger Delta militants. But the insecurity problems keep popping up. What does that tell you? It tells you that there's no proper accountability, and when you try to ask questions, they'll tell you things like, oh, official secrets, we can't tell you how this money is being spent. What it simply tells me is that somebody is having a party. I sometimes hate to talk about percentages when it comes to talking about things like education and health budgets, because percentages can be misleading. We can allocate 100% of the budget to education tomorrow or to health. But what if the budget is 10 naira? It means we've allocated nothing. So these are things that we have to talk about. These are things that we have to understand. Our population is growing. In the world's top 10 countries, our population is the fastest growing at 2.6%, which means that our population will double in about 30 years plus, and our economy is not growing as fast. So we need to up our productivity however way we can in order to be able to get the money to invest in education and health. And upping our productivity is not so simple, not so hard, but it requires thinking and it requires political will. The question we should ask ourselves is, do we have that political will? Thank you for listening.
And our final speaker, but definitely not the least this afternoon, we have Fati Abakar. She is born and raised in Maiduguri.